In the material world, in the material plane of consciousness, symbols are symbols, and living things are living things. But on the magical plane, living things are symbols, and symbols are living things. In certain of these rituals that we're talking about, we give certain signs, the signs of LVX, the signs of NOX, the signs of spirit, the rending and the closing of the veil, the signs of the elements, whereby we turn our body, a living thing, into a symbol. We're operating in a magical ceremony on the magical plane, and thereby turning our body, our physical body, into a symbol. We are creating a living thing on the magical plane. And symbols that we draw become living things. That's why it's very important in a vision or a magical ceremony where we scry into a certain magical environment, that we bring back a symbol from that magical plane, a symbol, a sign, or something that we can actually draw down on a piece of material paper afterwards and make a talisman of afterwards, because that symbol on this plane is truly a living magical thing. So just to review, because we're talking about the different signs and things in our discussion of Liber Somic here, these signs are all in the Magick of Thelema or the Magick of Aleister Crowley. There's the signs of LVX, with lovely Miss Constance giving these signs. The signs of NOX. And the signs of the elements. Signs of spirit, and the sign of Mater Triumphans, which is the sign of the inner. So we are on section 5, which is fire. Remember, we're discussing, or we're reading Crowley's Liber Somic. There's no Lon in this, unless Lon decides to digress in our conversation here. We've done the opening, and now we're moving from quarter to quarter, drawing pentagrams and saying things and doing invocations of the elements. We started in the east with air, and now the next one will be in the south for fire. And but we don't move from east to south. We move widdershins, or counterclockwise. So we take 3/4 way around the circle, find ourselves in the south, ready to address the element of fire. If you're following along, it's page 136. The adept now invokes fire in the south. Flame red are the rays that burst from his verendum. Okay, verendum. That is the word Crowley uses for that image that is extending forward from the magician in each of the quarters. And it thrusts forward. It's a very phallic kind of concept. Picture it however you need to. We discussed what Crowley said about it yesterday. But that's his verendum. So when we're talking about extend your verendum, uh, that can be said with knowing winks and nudges if in informal company. But anyway, so we extended our verendum in the air, in the east, straightforward in the east, with the visualization that we discussed yesterday. Now we're going to extend it to the south with the visualization that Crowley will talk about, and we'll do those barbarous words of evocation again. And then Crowley will analyze in the text his analysis of every Hebrew letter to give some meaning to these otherwise meaningless words. That was a digression, believe me. The adept now invokes fire in the south. Flame red are the rays that burst from his verendum. I invoke thee, the terrible invisible God who dwellest in the void place of spirit. Aro go go ruabrao. He analyzes it thusly. Thou spiritual son, Satan. Now remember, every time the letter O comes up, Satan is the word that he replaces it with. That O is the oyen in Hebrew, and that oyen is the I. Oyen is also the devil card. Oyen is also Capricorn. So don't get all Christian knee-jerk, fearful of the word Satan in this place. It's no more threatening than, "O thou Capricorn!" Arogogo ruabrao. Thou spiritual son, Satan, thou eye, thou lust, cry aloud, whirl the wind, O my father, O Satan, O son. Next word is sotu, thou the Savior. Mudorio, silence, give me thy secret. Phalarthreo, give me suck, thou phallus, thou son. Phalarthreo, there's many English words that would be suggestive of that too. Then 3 O's in a row, and this is on Christian Talk television. They always bring this one up. Oh, Crowley was a Satanist. Ooh is the word. O. And in pure Crowley style, he says, Satan, thou eye, thou lust. Satan, thou eye, thou lust. Satan, thou eye, thou lust. Next word is A-E-P-E, aepe. Thou self-caused, self-determined, exalted, most high. The bornless one. Now the concept, Crowley tells us what's going on in your mind, or what he's suggesting should be going on in your mind. The concept is of fire, glowing, inhabited by a solar phallic lion of a Uranian nature. Remember in the east, it was a solar phallic bird. Hear me and make all spirits subject unto me, so that every spirit of the firmament and of the aether, upon the earth and under the earth, on dry land and in the water, of whirling air and rushing fire, and every spell and scourge of God may be obedient unto me. So that's kind of the basic format. We've done it in the east. Now we've done it in the south. Now we turn widdershins and go 3/4 way around the circle again and come to the west, which is water. He invokes water in the west, his wand billowing forth blue radiance. Hear me, here comes the barbarous words again. Ru abra iao, thou the wheel, thou the womb that containeth the Father, iao. Mriodom, thou the sea, the abode. Babylon Balbin Abafo. Babylon, thou woman of whoredom, thou gate of the great God On, thou lady of the understanding of the ways. Okay, Bab in Hebrew is gate. Okay, Al, A-L, is God. O-N is the sun. So the word Babylon in and of itself means thou gate of the great God On, or the sun. Now the word On, O-N, is, I won't say a replacement, but a comparable word to the Hindu Om, the primal vibration of creation itself. But On, as a metaphysical word, the Greek On is the root word for words like ontology, the study of self. On is the self. And it's also the word for sun. Linking the idea that we are, in essence, solar beings. Babylon, gate of the God On. Babylon, thou woman of whoredom, thou gate of the great God On, thou lady of understanding of the ways. The next word is Asal on Ai. Hail thou the unstirred, hail sister and bride of On, of the God that is all and is none, by the power of 11. That power of 11 he plucks from the AI part of Asal on AI. The next word is Afen Iao, the treasure of Iao. Next word is just a simple I. Thou virgin, twin sexed, thou secret seed, thou inviolate wisdom. The next word is Photeth, abode of light. Abrasax, of the Father, the Son of Hadit, the spell of the Aeon of Horus. I'll spell this word for you first. A-E-O-O-U. Aiu. Thou lady of the western gate of heaven. Ishkure, mighty art thou, mighty and bornless one. The conception is of water, glowing, inhabited by a solar phallic dragon, serpent, of a Neptunian nature. Hear me and make all spirits subject unto me, so that every spirit of the firmament and of the aether, upon the earth and under the earth, on dry land and in the water, of whirling air and of rushing fire, and every spell and scourge of God may be obedient unto me. Then you turn to the left and go 3/4 the way around the circle again and come to rest in the north. He goes to the north to invoke earth. Flowers of green flame flash from his weapon. As practice makes the adept perfect in this work, it becomes automatic to attach all these complicated ideas and intentions to their correlated words and acts. When this is attained, he may go deeper into the formula by amplifying its correspondences. Thus, he may invoke water in the matter of water, extending his will with majestic and irresistible motion, mindful of its impulse, gravitation, yet with a suave and tranquil appearance of weakness. Again, he may apply the formula of water to its particular purpose as it surges back into his sphere, using it with conscious skill for the cleansing and calming of the receptive and emotional elements in his character, and for the solution or sweeping away of those tangled weeds of prejudice which hamper him from freedom to act as he will. Similar applications of the remaining invocations will occur to the adept who is ready to use them. Now remember from yesterday, at the very end of the barbarous words of evocation, the last barbarous word, after you've extended each section of those barbarous words, your verendum keeps extending and extending and extending, and at the last word, it's drawn back to you. You observe it back. So you've done it. We've done that now in 3/4, and we're ready to do it in earth, in the north. I invoke thee, Ma, O Mother, O Truth. Ba-ra-io, thou Mass. Iol, hail, thou art. Hail, thou that art. Kotha, thou hollow one. Athor ibalo, thou goddess of beauty and love, whom Satan beholding desireth. Abraot, the fathers, male, female, desire thee. The conception is of earth, glowing, inhabited by a solar phallic hippopotamus. Yes. Of venereal nature. A solar phallic hippopotamus of venereal nature. Okay. Hear me and make all spirits subject unto me, so that every spirit of the firmament and of the aethers, upon the earth and under the earth, on dry land and in the water, of whirling air and of rushing fire, and every spell and scourge of God may be obedient unto me. Okay, where are we here? Okay. Section F, Spirit. Now remember, at this ritual, which is done all in your head, okay, you can practice it walking around your living room if you want, but you do that only so you can get used to picturing what's going on in your head. This whole ritual is done in the body of light, as Crowley says. But we started the ritual remember there's a Tau cross in the center of our circle, and it has 10 squares in that Tau, in that upside down T. And each square is a sephira of the tree of life, and you start off by standing on the sixth sephira, or the square that represents Tiferet, or the heart thing. Then you leave that square and go walking around for your east and your south and everything else at the perimeter of the circle. But now you return to that Tiferet center. Okay, you finished up in the north, and now you return to the Tiferet center square. The adept now returns to the Tiferet square of his Tau and invokes spirit, and we'll see how that's done here, facing toward Boleskine by the active pentagrams, the sigil, called the mark of the beast, and the signs of LVX. He then vibrates the names, extending his will in the same way as before, but vertically upwards. At the same time, he expands the source of that will, the secret symbol of self, both about him and below, as if to affirm that self duplex as its form, reluctant to acquiesce in its failure to coincide with the sphere of Nuit. Wow. Let him now imagine at the last word that the head of his will, where his consciousness is fixed, opens its fissure, the Brahmarandra chakra, at the junction of the cranial structures that exude a drop of clear crystalline dew, and that this pearl of his soul, a virgin offering to his angel, pressed forth from his being by the intensity of his aspiration. Here are the spirit barbarous words. Hear me, Eot, male, female spirits. Abaot, male, female sires. Basaungen, ye that are gods, going forth uttering Aum, the word that goeth forth from A, breath, free breath, U, through willed breath, and stopped breath, Gn, to continuous breath, thus symbolizing the whole course of spiritual life. A is the formless hero. U is the sixfold solar sound of physical life, the triangle of the soul being intertwined with that of the body. M is the silence of death. GN is the nasal sound of generation and knowledge. I'll do that again. Next word is Isax, I-S-A-X, I-S-A-K. Identical point. The last word is Sabaoth. Nuit Hadit Rahur Kuit, hail great wild beast, hail Iao. Okay, now remember, with all the horizontal extending of the verindum, uh, at the last word, you bring back into yourself uh, all that was extended and all that was absorbed while extending. But now this set of barbarous words was an extension straight up, while you, as the center, uh, expanded out to actually encompass the totality of Nuit. But now we've done this. We've gone as high as we go and expanded as much as we can expand. Section F, small f. With these words, the adept does not withdraw his will within him as in the previous sections. He thinks of them as reflections of truth on the surface of the dew where his soul hides trembling. He takes them to be the first formation of his consciousness of the nature of his holy guardian angel. This is the Lord of the gods. Crowley's note is, the gods include all conscious elements of his nature. This is the Lord of the universe. The universe includes all possible phenomena of which he can be aware. This is he whom the winds fear. The winds are his thoughts, which have prevented him from prevented him from attaining his angel. This is he who, having made voice by his commandment, is the Lord of all things, King, ruler, and helper. Hear me, and make all spirits subject unto me, so that every spirit of the firmament and of the ether, upon the earth and under the earth, on dry land and in the waters, of whirling air and of rushing fire, and every spell and scourge of God may be obedient unto me. His angel has made voice the magical weapon which produces words. And these words have been the wisdom by which he has created all things. The voice is necessary as the link between the adept and his angel. The angel is king, the one who can, the source of authority and the fount of honor. Also the king, or the king's son, who delivers the enchanted princess and makes her his queen. He is ruler of the unconscious will, to be thwarted no more by the ignorant and capricious false will of the conscious man. And he is helper, the author of the infallible impulse that sends the soul sweeping along the skies on its proper path with such impetus that the attraction of alien orbs is no longer sufficient to swerve it. The hear me clause is now uttered by the normal human consciousness withdrawn into the physical body. The adept must deliberately abandon his attainment because it is not yet his whole being which burns up before the beloved. And that's where we'll stop today. Tomorrow we'll read Crowley's discussion on spirit, or that fifth section of this ritual. And so it's a good place to stop for today. Have a great week, everybody. Continue to be good to yourself and be good to each other. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will.